Olá, queridas irmãs, queridos irmãos, mais um programa Alimento para a Alma. E eu tenho certeza que você está querendo saber o que vem na continuação do Dot Connector, Conectando os Pontos com David Icke. Você pode pensar assim, mas isso não tem nada a ver com o Espiritismo. É verdade, não é Espiritismo, mas ele está descobrindo coisas que o Espiritismo fala. Se você assistir com atenção e assistir os outros, você verá que ele fala coisas que a doutrina espírita explica. Que nós somos controlados por forças invisíveis, negativas, muitas vezes, porque nos permitimos, porque nos deixamos levar. Isso feito por uma pessoa que não tem nada do conhecimento espiritual que nós, na doutrina espírita kardecista, já temos acesso. Porque essas são verdades universais. O Espírito está em toda parte, não é só no Espiritismo. E todas as pessoas que buscam, que escarafuncham, que pesquisam, que vão atrás, vão encontrar esses núcleos, esses fundamentos. O Espírito é a essência do ser, não é a matéria. E então você vai ver no programa de hoje a continuação da exposição de David Icke. Não vai esgotar, porque o programa de David Icke foi dividido em 9 para ele terminar a sua abordagem. Este é o primeiro. Nós estamos então pegando os 55 minutos do primeiro programa com o esforço de você poder assisti-lo integralmente, dividindo-o em 2 partes. O link que nós já apresentamos no primeiro e estamos mostrando para você é para você acessar este programa que está inteiro e os outros 8 que David Icke vai continuar a explicar as coisas. Queremos despertar a sua curiosidade. Queremos que você saia da sua conchinha, do seu lanchinho, do seu hambúrguer, do seu refrigerante, da sua comidinha no fim do dia para descansar à noite e medite. É preciso mudar hábitos, é preciso pensar diferente. Não estamos querendo produzir revoluções armadas, destruir as coisas. Não, estamos querendo que você fale para as pessoas, olha, não é do jeito que nós estamos pensando. As coisas funcionam de outra maneira. Quando você descobre isto, você tem uma opção. Você pode dizer sim ou pode dizer não. E quando você diz sim, você atua de um jeito. Quando você diz não, tem que atuar de outro. Mas você só pode fazer isso sabendo, coisa que eles não fazem conosco, eles não nos contam. Essas estruturas que nos governam não nos revelam como é que eles nos governam. Mas graças ao empenho de várias pessoas bem intencionadas, nós estamos observando essas realidades. E estamos compartilhando com você. Preste atenção então na segunda e última parte do primeiro programa Dot Connector com David Icke. Não queremos que você acredite no David Icke, queremos apenas que você pense no que ele está falando e até para negá-lo, que você pesquise, vá atrás, vá em busca de informações. Isto é alimento para a alma. Na próxima semana, nós teremos novidades também para você e esperamos que isso possa infundir ânimo para você compreender o que pode acontecer com o espírito se ele não sabe viver quando está encarnado, ok? Muito obrigado pelo seu carinho e até o próximo Alimento para a Alma. Muita paz.
First of all, this Hunger Games society with the less than 1% and the mega poor. The less than 1%, billions of mega poor, I see an answer here, right? So what they need to protect the less than 1% and keep this structure intact is they need a strata here of a vicious Orwellian police state, which keeps the masses under control and protects the less than 1% of the power structure. And what that level, the police state level, is not made wealthy by the less than 1%, but it's made a bit more wealthy than the mega poor. And what they're doing is they're recruiting from the target population to keep the target population in line. And now you look around the world, Richard, you look at the TSA, the Transport Security Organization in America. You look at the way the police is becoming the military. You're looking at more and more and more laws that are destroying freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and the idea, and Orwell was quite right, is to destroy eventually the freedom of thought. And we're seeing this police state unfolding on the way to that structure. And if people think it's bad now, well, have a think, because this, where we are now, outrageous as it is, in terms of the destruction of freedom, freedom of expression, freedom of movement, it's nowhere near where they want to take it. And then you look at the world government. We have a de facto world government already. It goes under names like the G20 or the UN Security Council that are making decisions that are affecting the world. And a handful of countries are, I mean, why is Britain a permanent member of the UN Security Council? Hello? Why is France? You know, United States and all the rest of it. Well, these are the countries where this spider has, Italy too, through the Roman Church, etc. But these are some of the countries from where the spider operates most powerfully. United States, Britain for historical reasons, France too. That's why these few little islands, you know, in the sea off the European mainland, 60 million people. That's why it has a permanent place in the UN Security Council. And the spider also works massively through Israel, through the House of Rothschild, which is absolutely a part of the spider. And thus, Israel is treated differently to the rest of the world in terms of what it can do and all the rest of it, because it is an asset. I'm not saying the people of Israel. I'm saying that the governing structure of Israel is a major part of this web. And therefore, when people say, why does America, at a time of massive economic catastrophe, why is it continuing to give billions of dollars to Israel, this country of less than 8 million people? Why? Because the spider controls America and it controls Israel. So this hand of the spider hands to this end of the spider. It's very, very simple. And that's why when it comes to wars and invading countries, Britain and America are always like, you know, where do we shoot? What direction do we shoot? And so in terms of wars, what we're seeing is the unfolding world army. We have a de facto world government, as I mentioned, but we have a de facto world army. It's called NATO, and it's called the American military, because the idea is to destroy America. That's why America is being destroyed. Because if you want a world government dictatorship, which dictates to every country, you can't have superpowers that can say no to you because of their financial and military might. So America is being systematically destroyed by the spider working through the American government, which it controls, on the road to a much bigger agenda to destroy America so the world government has power over America. And so puppet presidents like the Bush and Obama, they're put in there not to serve the American people. How do these people get to power? They get to power not least through attracting vast amounts of money. The money goes from the spider corporations and banks and donors to the candidate they have selected long ago, and then he represents the spider. Doesn't matter what party it is, that's just an illusion to think we have political choice. It's the spider that dictates. So this starts to explain, if we're talking about the world army, why when America, like I say, is going through economic catastrophe, it's got a debt so large it's almost a joke. I mean, you do know it's repayable and was long down there. It's just a joke. It's
trillions, isn't it?
Yeah, wait,
15, 18, 20, 21 trillion, whatever it is now. Yeah.
And what they're doing, just very quickly on that point, is they keep raising the debt ceiling and raising the debt ceiling because that's economic madness in you know, sensible economic terms. But the idea is to destroy America and destroy it financially. Thus, doing that is absolutely in line with the agenda, because you're reaching a point of economic total collapse, and that's the idea. So then you ask the question, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, why, amid this economic mayhem in America, is America spending trillions and trillions of dollars on the American military and wars abroad and occupation abroad? Why is it doing that? This is the answer. Because it's not the American military. It's the Spiders military working through America with American borrowed money. So they win-win here. They're building the American military, which is really a de facto world army, and at the same time, and funding it through America, they're destroying America financially, which is the idea. So, when you look at the world has been broken up by the American military into different comms or commands. Like there's Northcom, there's CENTCOM, there's AFRICOM. I mean, the arrogance of it, where they have different American command structures in these different parts of the world. But it's not the American military. This command structure which is being created for the day when the World Army is created, and the World Army or the American military are fused and absorbed into the World Army. That structure's already in place. They'll just inherit it. It's the World Army structure, not the American structure, which only seems that on the face of it. And so they have to get control of those areas of the world that won't come quietly. And so we go to the Middle East, and we go to what they call Eurasia, that great landmass between Europe and China, basically, and down into the Middle East. And so through 9/11, through endless excuses, they have started the process to take over those countries. What excuse do we need in Afghanistan? Okay, how about Bin Laden was behind 9/11? Yeah, that's the one, we'll have that. Yeah, sounds good, yeah. What about Iraq? Oh, God. Iraq, we can't say it was Bin Laden, can we? Because he didn't like Saddam. I know, weapons of mass destruction. We'll tell them that they can hit our targets in 45 minutes and all this stuff. Oh, that's a good one, they'll buy that. Okay.
But they won't tell them that we sold them any weapons that we might have had left.
Exactly, exactly. They won't tell you. They won't tell you that put Saddam Hussein into power. So then they go Libya. Well, I tell you what we'll do. How about we fund some rebels and we train some rebels, and we'll get some rebels to start attacking government targets, Gaddafi targets. What's Gaddafi going to do? Going to shoot back. So what we'll do is, when they start the rebellion and start attacking government targets, we'll sit very quiet, turn the microphone off, the media, they won't say a word. And then, when the government shoot back, we'll say he's killing his own people. That will work. So they went in and bombed Gaddafi out of sight and bombed Libya into the Stone Age. And then they tried to do the same in Syria, and they've not quite done it. And that's been a real block on this progress, because they thought they'd be through Syria and into other countries by now.
And this surprised even you, didn't it? I mean, it surprised you when David Cameron wasn't able to get a vote.
Well, I think it was a pivotal moment, Richie. It was a very pivotal moment, because what I saw at that time, for the first time really in any scale, is the public's perception of the possibility that actually chemical weapons had been used, not by Assad, who had everything to lose by doing so, but actually as an excuse to blame it on Assad. Problem, reaction, solution. It was a massive moment, because enough people had seen and absorbed that possibility for what the agenda was, which was to, hey, Syria's taking too long, right? Okay, I want an excuse. We need to bomb him out of power. They couldn't do it, and that was a very, very encouraging moment.
You are with David Icke, Dot Connector. We'll be back with plenty more after this short break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, David Icke, Dot Connector. We'll get straight into it, David. We were talking just before the break there about the fact that, surprisingly to some, The public revolted against the idea of going to war with Syria.
Yeah, and
We
this is why the People's Voice is in existence, and it's why the alternative media in its existence, is to fill that massive void that the mainstream media won't fill, which is actually the backstory of world events rather than the in-your-face, this is happening because the government says so. You see, there's something I've been talking about for years, repeaters. What society has become in terms of its official spokespeople in journalism, whether they're journalists, whether it's government officials or whatever, they're repeaters. What they do is they take the official version. This is how problem reaction solution works. They take the official version and they repeat it, and they call it journalism. Now, problem reaction solution would never work if we had real journalism, if the People's Voice version of journalism was widespread, because as soon as the government or whatever authority it is says this is what's happened and this is why it's happened, this is who's to blame, a real journalistic community would say, okay, let's have a look at this. Let's investigate this. Let's see if this version of events from the authorities actually stands up. And they'd find that it doesn't. Invariably, almost every time, doesn't stand up. So instead of the official version going to the public undiluted to get the reaction of do something, okay, we'll do what we're always going to do, yeah. Instead of that, another version would go to the public through the journalists, real journalists, which is they're lying to you. This is not true. Look, here's the evidence, right? So this is another area of great importance. It's not only people in uniform that are bringing this society, this Hunger Games society, into existence by enforcing the laws that the few are deciding. It's also journalists. You know, I say to them, you know, people all over the world, journalists who are alleged to be journalists, you are, by your omission of the truth, by your lack of true journalism, you are making a fundamental contribution to the enslavement of yourself, your children, and your grandchildren. And you better start understanding that, because one day you're going to have to look your children in the eye, and that when they ask you, what were you doing, Daddy and Mummy, when it was coming in? You were a journalist, weren't you? Oh, I was writing about a celebrity getting a divorce. All right, okay, all right. That's great. So this is vital. This is why the People's Voice exists. But there's another agenda here which explains a great deal, and this is a real stretch, Richie, for most people. It really is, although the documents exist to show that this is the case. There is a massive, massive agenda for a fundamental cull of the human population. From the point of view of this spider, the human population is too big and they want it smaller so it's more easily controllable. And it's not that people are just going to drop over in masses, you know, in the same moment. It's cumulative. And this is why we have genetically modified food, which is genetically modifying us. This is why we have poison in the water, like fluoride and other stuff that I'm sure is in there.
Thankfully, it's on the retreat, though, fluoride, thankfully. It looks to be, anyway.
Well, in some parts of the world, you know, in most parts of the world it isn't, but in some part of the world it is. And this is more encouragement, where this massive effort to get this information circulating has reached the point where it is starting. It is starting. Humanity is kind of starting to come out of its slumber, out of its mind-controlled state, because that's what it's been in, and it's starting to see what it couldn't see before, and therefore it is very, very, very encouraging. And this is why, or one reason why, there are others, why the atmosphere is being so irradiated. And when they're selling you something that is designed to harm you, then they have to give you a benefit. So they'll give you a mobile phone. And you can now call anybody. Oh, it's great, you can call anyone anytime. You know, and it's like one of those again. Deep breath, take a look at it again. That is working on microwave frequencies. Your brain is here, your ear is next to it. And you're going to put a microwave technology next to your ear for endless amounts of time a day. Now, how about we get a microwave oven and you hold it to your ear? right? Hold it through your ear for even 20 minutes. What do you think? Oh no, that'd be yes. Give us a call, because that's what you're doing, right? And why would they pick one of the most dangerous parts of the electromagnetic spectrum to communicate through technology that people are putting into their ears? And that's all part of the control system as well, because anything that has smart in front of it is part of this surveillance control system. Smartphones, smart TVs, which can actually see.
We saw that this week, didn't
exactly.
we? Yeah.
That's Orwell's telescreens. Smart meters. What are smart meters doing? They are creating. People are saying, this Wi-Fi, it seems it's dangerous. Yeah. What is a smart meter? It is creating yet another, in effect, Wi-Fi radiation field in your home. And not only is it sending back information from your home, it's actually sending stuff the other way on in the frequency band of human brainwave activity, so that it can actually implant information into your head, which you then think is your own thoughts and your own perceptions. This is not far-fetched. The thing is that when you see the world in that kind of span of possibility, because of all the stuff you've not been told, then some of these things I'm talking about out here can be fantastic. Oh, that's not possible. No, it's your perception of it not being possible. That's all it is. It actually is very possible. Not only that is happening. And so you have vaccinations. What is that doing?
We all did.
That is purely destroying the human immune system at the very time it is in the process of being formed. Okay, you're an immune system. You're just getting going. You've just been born. You just, oh God, here, just get
some
go.
pretty sharp moves there,
and suddenly, yeah, it is. And suddenly, boom! This tidal wave of toxin comes and smacks you. What is it now? 30-odd vaccinations before the age of 18 months.
We were supposed to get mumps, measles and rubella. You're supposed to get them, no?
Well,
aren't babies supposed to get these things and then get rid of them naturally?
Well, that was the idea. That was kicking the immune system into development and strength. Yes, but the thing is that what vaccines are doing are destroying the immune system. The immune system will never be the same again when its very point of formation it is hit by a tidal wave of toxins. And there's more and more excuses for it all the time. We've got a vaccine for this, we've got a vaccine for that, vaccine for that. They just invent diseases like attention deficit disorder so that they can give pills to young kids to change their bloody mind,
Stop acting like a child.
Yeah. So it's it's all connected. All the ways that our children are being drugged. The education system is simply there to program children to be good slaves on the other end, and that is becoming more and more blatant. And the idea is for the education system, and my goodness are we seeing this now, the school to be the parent, the state to be the parent. More and more parental rights are being taken away, and more rules and powers are being given to schools, not only over children when they're at school, which is most of the time, these prisons they call schools, these places of captivity, but actually more and more it's impacting on the time they're not at school. And so when you look at world events, you are looking at this agenda unfolding. Now, don't start me. Climate change. Climate change is one of the most monumental, blatant lies. You remember when temperature started to go up because of the sun cycle, you notice that they never mention the sun when they're talking about temperatures. Do you think the sun might have an effect on temperature? What do you think? Oh, I don't know. Well, I've never thought about that one. No, my computer program tells me it's so-and-so, it's CO2. Right, yeah, so rubbish in, rubbish out, computer programs, you get that? Yeah. The idea of the sun is not fundamental to the temperature is insane. Of course it is. Anyway, what they've done is when the temperatures were going up, oh, it's global warming. And then there's Al Gore. He's wheeled out to be the front man. He's got a carbon footprint the size of Godzilla. He has, and it starts.
Well, he would, wouldn't he, with limousines and planes and everything else. Yeah.
And anyway, he comes out as the front man, and global warming, and then suddenly the temperatures weren't playing ball. They stopped. and they started to go down a bit. And now, they've held steady since 1997. We're in 2013. Global warming, so what did they do? They changed it to climate change. Well, global warming won't stand up because climate change, good one. And what they're doing is they're justifying, and this is where the green movement has been caught on the line, hook, line and bloody sinker, buying this nonsense for various reasons. Because the idea is to use the lie of climate change and saving the planet to transform human society, to deindustrialize human society and to transform it. And if you see the maps, they're in my books, you can get them on the internet, of America under something called Agenda 21, which is a global thing. Most people will never have heard of it.
No, they won't.
But you start looking,
there, yeah.
It's everywhere. You know, I live on a little island called the Isle of Wight, right? It's part of Agenda 21, as all these other communities are around the world. Agenda 21, it's basically the Orwellian state. One of the things about Agenda 21, which it calls for, is, first of all, it's part of this whole population cult. It's to move people off the land into very, very densely populated high-rise accommodation with incredibly small living space. They're already, Mayor Bloomberg announced 165,000 units in New York when he was mayor, which absolutely are straight out of Agenda 21, because they're so tiny, it's almost laughable.
They do it in Japan, don't they?
Yeah, but
already.
Yeah, but they're bringing it all around the world, this Agenda 21. And therefore, if you want to get people into densely populated regions of what they call basically human settlement zones in great Orwellian fashion, you've got to get them off the land. You've got to get them away from the land. So in America, for instance, the Environmental Protection Agency, which is actually a tyranny, they go around with guns and looking like the military. They are introducing more and more laws to make it impossible for small farmers and family farmers and privately owned farmers to survive. It's happening in this country. Just as small business is being constantly targeted with red tape and bureaucracy to make it and taxation to make it impossible for them to survive, because the idea is all the corporations run all that stuff. There's no small business in the Hunger Games society they want. And so the family farms, which were the bedrock of America at one time, they're being forced off the land where? Into the cities, and the corporations are taking over the land. Also, fracking. What's fracking doing? It's making it impossible to live in many parts of the world, of the land, if you like, the countryside, the farming land and stuff like that, because you need water. And what they're doing is, through fracking, is that they are polluting the water supply with something like 600 chemicals which go into the water for the fracking process to happen. And it's never usable again because of all the chemicals, and then that chemically infested water gets into the drinking water supplies, and suddenly you can't live in that area anymore. They're forcing people off the land. There's so many ways that they're doing this around the world, which I go into in the books. But that is like an overview of where the agenda's taken us, the structure that allows it, the techniques of mass manipulation to take us there, and putting into context of things happening in the world which clearly are part of that pattern. And we'll pick up on that as we go through the weeks.
It's really fascinating stuff, David. Thanks for that. That's brilliant. That's it for now. We'll be back next week with more dot connecting with David Icke. Thanks for your company. See you then.